I'm not saying I was some big muscle head, but I was in the best shape of my life playing basketball at the college level, and it's going from that to the struggles with, the quad gut and skinny legs and not having the muscle definition I used to have. It was definitely a big adjustment to lose that, but now to start watching myself get it back as I'm getting stronger.
You look different, you feel different, and you view yourself differently. I think knowing other people view you differently because you come along with a wheelchair and you have scars for people to look at, and it's just I know who I am, I know my identity, but trying to figure out what that is through all the other little things that you have to worry about all the time. I think it's just me trying to figure out who I am with this disability.
I get it from people every day I see them, or I see people that I haven't seen in a while. Oh man, you look good. You look healthy. You're almost there. And they don't see the struggle, if you understand. They don't see the struggle that I deal with daily. And me thinking about how I used to be a lot has changed me to where now I'm more, I'll say, methodical with certain masculine things I used to do. Then because before the accident, I was just so free willy. Of course, you feel like you're invincible. And then when you hit a roadblock, you start to reevaluate things differently. And I reevaluate pretty much everything now on the importance of it and the distance from it. When it comes to me being a man, I'm still a man. I mean, I was that before the accident. I'm gonna still be that when I ascend. But I know I had to come to grips with my limitations and know, even though I have limitations, I'm still gonna be who I am, just a different version of me.
I think after a traumatic injury, things have changed, right? Physically, how you carry your body or how your body works for you, to your interactions with other people. And so it's fairly common, and I hear from folks that they feel like they've lost confidence in how they can do things or how they look themselves in a community setting and how they carry themselves. They've lost confidence, right? They used to be a really confident person, walk in a room and own it, and now they're like questioning themselves. Other things I hear from patients that they have a disconnect from their body, they have no control. So there's oftentimes worry about what might happen in the community.
What you have to remember, and I think this is pretty common for most people, is you are literally meeting a new body. You have known yourself a certain way for all of your life up until your injury. And all of a sudden, your body is changing. It doesn't do what you want it to do in the way that you're used to doing it. It's almost like you're meeting a foreigner. And so I think it's pretty normal to sort of question about, who is this? How does this function? What am I supposed to do with this? It's kind of like trying on a new pair of shoes, only multiplied times 1,000. It's like, this doesn't feel right. I need to break it in. And so it's going to take some practice to break your body in.
Now it's kind of figuring out the person I want to be outside of being the athlete. So still, that's another one of those building every day, trying to figure out where life's going and the person I want to be outside of the college athlete or the athlete in general.
I think it's a combination when we think about discovering who we are. There is an opportunity for you. This is, when we think about opportunities, this is an opportunity for you to maybe do some things that you've always wanted to do that you have not given yourself a chance to do. Maybe not in the way that you wanted to do it, but it allows you, if you take it, an opportunity to explore yourself, your life, your body in ways that maybe you didn't do that before. And so maybe you do find some other interests that really you take charge of and really adds to your life and makes it bigger. But it doesn't mean throwing away everything that you had in your life or how you defined yourself or what skills you had before. Because maybe in an adaptive way, you still find ways to have joy and meaning with those activities that you had before, but you do it a little bit differently. I'm going to give you an example. I also don't think it's necessary that you have to hang on to everything that you did and do it differently because maybe it doesn't bring you the same joy. I'm a huge golfer. I love all aspects of the game. I love being able to go to the course. I walk the course. I prefer to do that over the cart. I like to see the course when I'm playing. I like to not only, be skillful at hitting the ball in the way that I can. It gives me an opportunity to be away from what I do every day. So it's all aspects of the game. Would I play it again if I had to do it in an adaptive way? I can't answer yes or no to that. I don't know that I would like it in the same way. I don't know that it would bring me the same joy. I might try it, but I would give myself permission to say, it's not the same for me. I don't know that I want to do this. I'm going to find something else that brings me that joy. I may play it and discover I still like it. And so it's about giving myself permission to try things that I did before and be okay with liking it or not, and also bringing some new things into my life and maybe discovering something that I didn't ever have in my life before.
I remember the first time that I went out in public after, my injury, and I was actually here at Shepherd, and we went to a Braves game. And I just remember, feeling completely different. I wasn't myself. And I think at that point, I was not confident at all. And I think as time went on, I had to really focus in on myself and not what others think or see. And, the still wearing some of the things that I like to wear, or learning to apply my own makeup and brush my hair. I think stuff like that really made a difference in what I struggled with, because I was, 22 when I was injured and loved to do my hair, loved to do my makeup, and that was something that I struggled with at first, confidence-wise, because I was in a neck brace, I had scars, it was just something that I didn't feel myself, I didn't look like myself, and I struggled with that for a long time until I was able to do more of those things again.
Those people I used to call friends, that I would see them in public and they would shy away from me, or they would see my mom out in public and say, I just haven't talked to him because I don't know what to say to him. And so it was more of, they thought I was a different person now just because I was in the chair. And I try to tell people all the time, fortunately, I don't have a brain injury, so it didn't change the person I am. I'm still the same person. I'm in a wheelchair now. So, and society definitely looks at me different, and good and bad sometimes, because obviously everywhere you go, people stare because it's different, especially in my area. There's not a lot of people out. There's not a lot of quadriplegics in my area in chairs, and so people tend to stare more, but I've found that a lot of it is them wanting to be helpful and looking to possibly be able to help in some sort of way. So there's definitely pros and cons to it.
I hear from a lot of folks after they got hurt that people are going to see them differently, or people are going to treat them differently. Some of the fears that I hear is that right now, if I'm single, I won't be dateable. I'm no longer something that seems as a viable option for a partner. Other times I hear people who are in relationships that, why would someone be with me now, right? Why would my spouse be with me or my partner? Because I can't no longer provide. So when it comes to that, I often say, Was it your legs and arms that really made you that person in that relationship? And more likely than none, the answer is no. It was your personality, it was your heart. And that's something to kind of self-reflect on, is that, you know what, these relationships were never based on my physical abilities to do something. Rather, it was the connection and it was the memories that we made together. And how can we go back about doing that?
The thing I come back to a lot with people is, are you going to run your injury, or are you going to let your injury run you? So it's the same thing with your friends. You are still the core same person that you were. Now, doesn't mean that you didn't grow from this incident, doesn't mean that your life doesn't take some different avenues from this incident, but your core person of who you are is the same. So how you are with your friends shouldn't be really that much different than what you were before.
You know, they say you gotta walk in somebody else's shoes to understand. People can say that, but it's the cliche answer. I understand. No, you really don't understand what I'm going through unless you experience this. It's so true. Like, I would see before the accident people out, you know, that had limitations, and, you know, I would look and I wouldn't judge, but I was like, wow, you know, how would I do in that situation? And now I'm put in a situation where I do have limitations. And now I feel I can talk to somebody about that because I experienced the same thing. Even though I'm in a different healing process than they are, I still can relate because I've been through the pain. I understand when you're sitting around, like you said, in loneliness and grief, and you see the loss how you used to be, but you can't do what you used to do. I understand the limitations. I understand the depression, the anxiety. I've been through that, so I can sit down and we have a common ground, common denominator about what we've been through. And it's people don't understand it's important when you go through something with somebody that you can relate to them. The experts or the people that are trying to understand it won't really understand it unless you go through the experience, because experience is a teacher. Everything in life is a teacher, but clearly this is a teaching moment for anybody.
People more likely than not are actually just uncomfortable of what to say to you or what to ask. It has nothing to do with you. And so the best way to sort of go about with regaining your roles within those relationships is ask what you want, right? I think that's the best way. So if your mother or your wife is now hovering, you might want to say, hey, I would like to try this myself, and if I need help, I will ask you. If it's someone that they're feeling really uncomfortable and you think maybe they don't like you, maybe break the ice and say, hey, do you have any questions about my wheelchair or about my injury? And that creates a bridge, right? People, I think I hear from family members, because I do both sides, sometimes family members are really awkward. They don't know what to bring up or what to ask about your day. So they're like, should I ask my loved one that, was therapy okay? Or were they able to move something? And I always go back, ask that person, let them decide what they want to share or not. And so that's really important, I think, being able to have a conversation with your loved ones, so how you want to rebuild those roles and what are your definitions and boundaries within them.
For additional resources, please visit our website.